Kungfu Panda Holiday.
Dad, this dream is awesome!
Said Po, as he and Mr. Ping battled giant vegetables Kung Fu style.
Your reign of tears is over!
He told an onion, slicing it in half. Mr. Ping grinned ecstatically as he cooked with Po in a wonderful noodle dream. Suddenly, Po's old enemy, Tai Lung, appeared. Po chased after him as Mr. Ping yelled for him to wait.
Sorry, Dad,
yelled Po.
Evil doesn't take a holiday, and neither do I.
Mr. Ping awoke and screamed so loud that Po smashed through the door looking for intruders.
It was just a dream. I'm not going anywhere.
Po comforted him. Mr. Ping followed Po downstairs to the noodle shop, where the two unpacked decorations for the winter festival.
Whoa, right on top! It's the sun lantern I made when I was a cub,
said Po. Mr. Ping admitted that he had opened the box last summer just to look at the lantern. He loved winter festivals so much, he just couldn't wait.
Me too,
said Po.
The decorations, the dancing, huh, Dad, the dancing!
Po swung his father into a dance, and they boogied around the kitchen. Po danced to the stove and was slurping up a pot of noodles when Master Shifu appeared in the doorway.
I've come to talk to you about the winter feast at the Jade Palace. You will be...
Becoming the winter feast with the Kung Fu masters from all the provinces?
Po interrupted.
No, Po, you will not be invited.
Shifu told him. Po sighed.
You will be hosting,
said Shifu.
Me?
said Po.
The winter feast is legendary. I bet you got the best, biggest, brightest sun lanterns and dancing.
Po,
Shifu stopped him.
Dancing and sun lanterns, those are common traditions. This is the winter feast. It is perfection. Always elegant. Always formal,
said Shifu.
Awesome. I'm all about elegant,
said Po.
I mean, dancing, come on. Sun lanterns? Weak.
Po saw that Mr. Ping had overheard, but didn't notice his sad expression.
Dad, isn't this great?
He cried. Mr. Ping forced a smile as Po was called away to fight some bad guys. Po joined the Furious Five, Monkey, Mantis, Viper, Tigress, and Crane as they battled some villainous boars. Dispatching the boar bandits expertly and awesomely, Po told the five that he was going to host the winter feast. The Furious Five were surprised and a little concerned. They hinted delicately that the celebration was very sophisticated. Po pushed one boar aside, then squashed another with his bottom.
Why does everyone think I can't do sophisticated?
He asked. The five assured Po that they had confidence in him. They just wondered if he needed a little help.
I got this,
said Po as the last boar fell.
It's dinner, eating, entertainment. How much do you have to know?
Later, at the Jade Palace, Po quickly realized it would not be so simple.
There are 18 gestures you must memorize for the right hand, 19 for the left,
Shifu said, launching into a seemingly endless list of instructions. Each place setting required 40 chopsticks and 7 bowls. There must be flaked jasmine, never ground, always flaked. Po must hang tapestries 4.5 inches apart, no more, no less. He must guard the scrolls containing the ancient recipes for all 27 courses of the meal. And he must learn to chant the traditional greeting of the masters. Po was overwhelmed. At least his dad would enjoy such a grand feast, Po thought. But Shifu told him there were absolutely no guests allowed other than the Kung Fu masters. And that included Mr. Ping.
But he's my dad. We always spend the holiday together.
Po protested.
I understand, Po,
said Shifu, but he was firm.
You are the Dragon Warrior now, and therefore this is your duty above all other pawns.
Po was still thinking about his dad as Shifu continued his instructions. Po caught something about a golden ladle.
What?
He said, confused.
Po, hire a chef. Present him with the golden ladle.
Said Shifu, shooing him toward the line of hopeful chefs Zhang had assembled.
Do not let me down.
Shifu warned. Zhang presented the first chef, a small rabbit named Wohop, who eagerly offered Po an ornate dish. As Po glanced up, he saw Monkey passing by and waved to him. Instantly, the rabbit was whisked away by stern goose attendants.
What just happened?
Asked Po. Zhang told him that as host of the festival, his every gesture had meaning. Po had just given Wohop the ancient Hunshu wave of dismissal. Po gaped.
The what? Is that a thing? That doesn't even sound like a thing. Can't we just get the rabbit back?
But Zhang refused and called the next chef. Then Po brightened. His dad was a chef.
I'll choose my dad. Then I'll get to spend the holiday with him.
Po decided. He looked at all the amazing dishes and steeled himself to reject them.
Hate the food?
Po told himself.
Hate the food.
Each dish was more wonderful than the last, but after tasting all of them, Po still refused to name a winner.
Nice try, everyone. See you next year!
He called as he grabbed the golden ladle and sprinted toward the noodle shop. Mr. Ping was thrilled to be asked to prepare a meal for all the great Kung Fu masters. But when Po told him it would be tomorrow night for the winter feast, Mr. Ping hung his head. He handed back the ladle and said he couldn't do it.
What? Why not?
Demanded Po. His father sighed and told him he couldn't leave the restaurant. Their friends depended on him. So did the lonely people who had no place else to go. Po knew that his father's motto was, "There's always room for one more at Mr. Ping's."
It's just, I thought this was a way for us to be together on the holiday.
Said Po. Mr. Ping said he wanted that too.
But I can't be here. I have responsibilities to Shifu. What do you expect me to do?
Po protested. Mr. Ping handed Po the sun lantern. He told Po he expected him to do the right thing. The next day, Po was frantically trying to cook all 27 courses by himself when Wohop appeared.
Oh, awesome, a real chef.
Po cried. But Wohop was there to fight, not cook. Though he would surely die in the attempt, he had to battle the dragon warrior to reclaim his honor. He began jabbing Po vigorously with a wooden spoon. When Wohop took a break from his attack, Po remembered the Furious Five.
That's it!
He shouted.
And you, Bunny? If you even want me to think about your death with honor, you're gonna have to help me in the kitchen. This may be our greatest challenge ever.
Po told the assembled five. Monkey asked if it was bandits. Viper guessed raiders.
No.
Said Po grimly.
Place settings.
As he called out kung fu moves, the five sent plates spinning like throwing stars. They leapt through the air with lanterns and tapestries. Soon the table was set, the ice sculpture carved, the decorations hung, and the meal prepared.
You guys are the best!
Said Po.
29 place settings, 40 chopsticks each.
Crane gave a satisfied nod. Every detail was just right, he noted, even down to the ground jasmine.
Ground jasmine?
Said Po.
It was supposed to be flaked!
Po raced down to the spice shop for flake jasmine. He had no time to spare, but the beauty of the village stopped him. The cozy cottages were hung with colorful decorations. Friends welcomed each other into their homes for the holiday. Po sighed as he watched a father bunny help his son hang a sun lantern. Po made it back to the palace just in time to start the feast. Shifu was pleased.
Beautiful. Elegant. Perfect.
He said.
You've made me proud.
Then louder he asked.
Dragon Warrior, would you honor us by reciting the opening words to the Creed of the Masters?
I can't, Master Shifu.
Said Po. Shifu leaned over.
I thought you might forget the words, so I took the liberty of writing them on your napkin.
Po shook his head.
That's not it.
He replied, standing to address everyone.
The creed of the Masters is amazing. It's like the coolest creed ever. And, you Masters, how cool are you guys?
Po continued.
Master Rhino? Forget about it. You're more awesomely skilled and wrinkly than I'd ever dreamed you'd be. And, Master Sheep, Fluffy, and the Five, it's just such an honor to be here with all you guys. But every feast, my dad and I spend all day cooking together.
Po continued.
And the whole neighborhood shows up, and it gets really loud and crazy, and my Uncle Yang ends up laughing so hard noodles spurt out his nose. I wish I could stay and be a good host, but I think I need to leave and be a good son.
Meanwhile, Mr. Ping was having a terrible time trying to run the noodle shop by himself. Po stepped in to help as his dad staggered under a pile of boxes.
I got that, Dad.
He said. Mr. Ping was overjoyed to see Po.
Now don't we have some cooking to do?
Po said happily. Po and Mr. Ping cooked together even more beautifully than they had in Mr. Ping's dream. And together, they served steaming bowls to the large crowd gathered in the courtyard. All the Kung Fu masters had followed Po to the noodle shop, and were now joyfully eating alongside the villagers. Only Shifu remained outside, staring in.
I don't understand.
He said to himself.
Po, why did you ruin something that was perfect?
Then he watched as Master Rhino told stories to the village children, and Tigress bounced them on her knee. He saw Po present the golden ladle to a happy Wohop, restoring the little rabbit's honor. Then Shifu understood.
This is perfect,
he said. Po found Shifu and invited him in.
There's always room for one more at Mr. Ping's,
he said.
Oh no, I couldn't. These are your people. This is your family,
said Shifu.
You're my family too, Shifu.
Po told him.
Come on.
Mr. Ping welcomed Shifu and asked him to join them for some soup. Wohop served the table. Everyone was together and happy at last.
Po,
said Shifu.
What goes on in your head, I really don't always understand. But what goes on in your heart will never let us down.
And the winter feast continued in joyful celebration. The end.